I am really tempted on reading the manga after watching this final episode of Gekon Shoujo. That ending left me wanting more. It definitely left me wanting to see more of these characters. These characters are so good. Gekon Shoujo is so much better than I thought it was when I started this series. I mean, this is just great. This final episode just makes me sad because I will not see any more anime episodes of Gekon Shoujo. I have enjoyed this series a lot more than I thought I have, really. I completely recommend this series. If anyone wants a nice, good slice of life, or a comedy, romance type anime, I recommend it. This is a series I definitely can stand behind and recommend. But that ending, I have a theory on that ending real quick I want to cover before I talk about the entirety of Gekon Shoujo. So, that ending where you see the fireworks go off and you see how Chiyo states like, I love you, to Nozaki, I think Nozaki heard her. I really believe Nozaki heard what she said, because when she said it, the fireworks stopped. Technically, the fireworks did stop, so he had ample enough time to be able to hear what she was saying. And I think when the fireworks started back up and you couldn't hear what Nozaki was saying, he actually acknowledged Sakura and probably said something to her, probably saying like, right at the moment we probably can't get together because I'm teacher, you're student. I think that's what he was going to say. And so, I personally believe, I want to leave it as this, I believe Nozaki acknowledged Sakura, knew what she said, but he decided to ignore it since she says, oh, I couldn't hear you, can you say that again? I guess he decided to go the easy route, and instead of hurting her feelings, decided to say, I love fireworks too. The reason why he didn't want to hurt her feelings is because, I mean, technically, looking at this realistically, he is a teacher. He is a teacher, and she is a student, so they technically can't be together. And so I think Nozaki was probably saying something along the lines of that in that entire bit when his voice cut out, and that makes me very sad. And it makes me hope and wish that Nozaki acknowledged her and said that most likely they will get together once school is done. That's what I'm wanting to believe after this episode. And so that's my theory on the ending. Truthfully, that is just my theory. I think, you know, Nozaki knew what she said, but he said what he said to Sakura because he didn't want to hurt her feelings even worse than what he did when saying, I love fireworks. Now, this episode, for the most part, retained the awesome, badass comedy that it always does in every freaking episode of Nozaki. Every episode is good, it's grand, it gives me those laughs, and every freaking week when I came to watch this series, it got me more than I expected. Those facial expressions of Sakura, or other characters of Kashima, Mikorin, Seo, different things like that, they always get me a laugh and a smile on my face, and I've had to get out of my chair multiple times while watching this series and just walk downstairs because it was that funny. So, personally, in a comedy standpoint from this year, I think the only comedy I have seen from this year of anime that stands up to Gekon Shoujo in my eyes is Defrag. And that's the only series I think will stand up to Gekon Shoujo so far from what I've seen. Barakamon is a comedy, yes, but it's mainly more focused on morals and, you know, slice of life stuff going on in the series, so I can't really count Barakamon as a straight-up comedy. So I'm looking more at the straight-up comedy like Gekon Shoujo. In terms of comedy and making me laugh, I'm going to say a 10 out of 10. The comedy was definitely a 10 out of 10 in my eyes, but as I say in almost every comedy review, comedy is subjective, so everybody has different tastes. Most likely, there'll be some of you that prefer Sabigebu over this series, and so forth. But, I mean, personally, the comedy was refreshing. I enjoyed it. I love the misunderstandings and the way Nozaki broke every single cliche that we normally see in a comedy anime definitely made me happier about this series. For instance, you know, the constant romance cliches he broke with the umbrella scene or White Day, Valentine's Day. The way he's such a weird character. Nozaki is a weird character in this series. He's a unique character, the way he acts, the way he is, the way he focuses so much on his work, and you have to feel so bad for Chiyo. I mean, I feel so fucking bad for her. I really do. I actually shed a single tear in my eye after this episode. I was like, fucking Chiyo, I feel so bad for her. I really do. The way she always gets shafted or something bad happens. And I'm just gonna say the highlight of this episode was the entire scene to where Chiyo runs into Nozaki, and you see her drop the chocolate all over the floor, her Valentine's chocolate that is meant for Nozaki. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, Sakura. And then all of a sudden, you know, he imagines her mind like she's getting all evil and all that, like, you better eat that. And I'm like, oh my god. That was just so freaking good, the way Nozaki was imagining Sakura in his mind. So I feel like the comedy of this series has remained consistent. It hasn't gotten stale, it hasn't gotten boring. and I definitely would watch this series again and again if I could. I mean, seriously, if the manga ever comes out in the States, in the United States, and like English translated, I will definitely buy Gekon Shoujo because I love this series. I really do. Now, all of you manga readers of Gekon Shoujo, I want to ask a very serious question. Please be honest with me. How many chapters are translated after this episode? How many chapters are translated? And also, is there any progression whatsoever with the romance? That's what I want to ask. Now, besides that, in the whole, what I'm going to give this series, I want to factor in my entertainment value and everything, and you know, I'm just going to have to say, I am going to give this a 9 out of 10. In total, 9 out of 10, because I have enjoyed this series so much. I have. And it's going to be sad not seeing this every Sunday. I'm going to actually miss this series quite a bit. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. What would you rate Gekon Shoujo? Did you enjoy this series? Would you recommend this to your friends? Let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.